180 because he did that at the secret skirmish, and you almost didn't see his camera move.
Oh, that was one of the most insane.
Yeah, you can actually just look, if you're watching on Twitch, you can check out the clips. It's one of the most clipped ones in there. It's utterly ridiculous. It looked just like that, but we're jumping on in Circle 4. Not Panda and by Revy. Revy, unfortunately, already gone down, so Panda, one of those solo riders out here. There's 6 others of them. Otherwise, everyone has their buddy.
My fear at the end of that game, though, Sundown, was that they split up in a 1v1, and it does appear that was the case. You have to work with your teammate, but in that moment there, what a game that was, man. We've had some great games. NA East does not disappoint. Europe was phenomenal as well, and I know that we've been I know we're going to take a look at some of the other regions here and the games that the level of play that we're seeing between all of them. And that was our elimination leader who gets knocked down by Not Panda. Okay. Yep. Great shot.
Heavy Snipe versus Boombo. Heavy Snipe will take that away when it is the straight-up confrontation. Now you can see Panda trying to just straight cone himself, but this is what happens when you're on the edge of the circle. Yep, boom goes the dynamite, taking that one down there, but Panda intelligently disengaging over the side and adding an extra line of sight blocker, so that natural hill, you can't shoot through it.
But I know he went down, though, so his back is against that storm, which makes his rotation difficult. We'll see what happens to Not Panda, and maybe he may pop up in that elimination feed here, but that circle is going to be going further up past Junk Junction, right on top of Junk Junction. TeTchra and Eclipsae with 4 eliminations now, and the community launchpad. They're both going to go for it, take some damage.
Yep, and Eclipsae actually gonna opt not to hit it, but there's Tfue and Cloak in their patented tunnel, making sure they have it all the way out as we jump on board with Hex Creamy and Dwindle sitting on 2 elims as we're now into the top 20 with Aspect taking out Billis there. So Aspect in this lobby as well in perfect tilt. This is starting to get stacked, GB.
Not surprised at all. These are players that are appearing in our top 10 when we broke down the standings the first time. And as these matches continue, you can expect to see that as well. That's white damage onto his row BBQ, and he has him for dinner. Nixay as well gets eliminated. That was a down there. That's 2 eliminations, but won't be able to stay alive. He went right for the loot, gobble, 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 but ended up getting eaten up. And we'll have to try again.
Yep, now Gandhi and TeTchra being the beneficiaries of that, getting all of it. And we've talked about it. Yes, you get the elim, that's awesome. You see all that wonderful loot. But I promise, in a duos competition at this high of level and this late, you aren't the only one firing at that player. You don't get an elim solo firing off. Somebody else is looking and they're waiting for you to go try and capitalize on it. Because all of a sudden, if you go and run for that loot and you're being that little goblin who wants everything in your backpack and you want all the mats, and then you go down, that other duo might end up with 2 or 3 duos worth of gear, and they're set for the rest of the game.
Yeah, you basically just allowed someone that placement that could have been yours, but hey, right, you can't really cry over spilt milk in Fortnite. If you're eliminated, you just got to move on. Whereas Mio J and Prestivent, they're continuing on, and they have been tagging Shaded down low. White damage, as soon as you see that white damage, hey, you go for the shots. You know that this person is more paranoid and panicky than you could possibly imagine.
Yeah, and the white damage indicating that they don't have any of those shields, which comes up blue, and it actually makes now a really cool cracking noise when it gets broken through, as Karsa cracks through right there. Now we're jumping on board with Tfue and Cloaksy from FaZe, popping off those slips, but also starting to get limited on builds. They just did a 50-50 split, I'm assuming, so probably about 50 builds total for the 2 of them, but good pressure now coming out, and might have been a little bit of a miscommunication there, because it looked like they had pressure, but opting for the rift.
Or no, there were 3 players there. I think someone else used that rift, and they may have gotten sucked into that.
Gotcha. Okay, but now inside the top 15, so 3 placement points plus their elims. Looking now for top 10 as the next threshold. You can see the format there in the top right, but Tfue looking for a spot to set his feet and begin fighting again.
Yeah, if he's going to be able to get into a fight. We've been on board with Tfue for a little while now, and he hasn't really had much of an opportunity to engage with anybody. And he's looking, he does see an opportunity now. He's going to throw down some damage, and that was some blue damage onto that player. And cracks the baller. trying to make him pay. That player is going to go low. Cloak, he's getting pressured too. That was the player that he was shooting at earlier.
He only has 7 builds, so he needs to be careful when he opts to use them here. Does work his way around the side.
Oh, goes in for the back.
Perfect tilt. Can he get back to Cloaksy and help him? Shot does not quite look like it connects. Now Aspect picks up the conversions onto Masaurus and perfect tilt almost into the top 10. Cloaksy still in the server as well, sitting on 75 effective HP. TeTchra sees this guy right there, gets the edit, needs to work his way back in, trying to pair up with Cloaksy, and now we get to reset for a second as we're into the top 10. 11 points so far for the FaZe duo. Make it 12 as Divinity goes down, and TeTchra trying to line up the next shot, and he is just doing work on this mid ground.
I mentioned before that TeTchra really didn't get into a lot of fights. Well, he's been in plenty of fights, but Cloaksy is going to go down. Can TeTchra bring this one back for his squad? He's going to get trapped on the mountain, player right in front of him. Can he stay alive? He's getting shot at, but it's going to be TJ who picks him up. He got pinned literally between a rock and a hard place and could not get out of that one. Prestivant, MoJ, they're going to be up in the high ground here, but you see the bodies beginning to drop. There's so many players here that are having to deal with Old Man Mountain Sundown, and we already know that Old Man Mountain will always collect his toll, and that is exactly what's happening here. Only a few more players are going to remain. TeTchra is going to be right outside. Goodbye, TeTchra, and it's going to go down to MoJ and Prestivant.
Yeah.
Both duo against these two guys. Can they do it?
Keep an eye on TeTchra and Eclipsae. TeTchra in your bottom right-hand corner already has 6 elims. They're very aggressive. We've seen them clutch out in this situation, and what they're trying to do right now is they're trying to bait Prestivant and MoJ into thinking they're ramping one way so they can then commit to another side and find a shot. But now that they've waited out the ultimate part of the cliff, they're able to start sliding down, but they need to be careful because MoJ and Prestivant are going to be able to take shots. MoJ starting to pressure down.
Oh, MoJ goes down! MoJ goes down! Prestivant's going to be all the way up in the high ground, and he waterfalls. But as it currently stands, as far as health is concerned, Eclipsae should be able to win this. TeTchra is just trying to put the pressure, and he's going to go down, and victory royale for the Bolt duo. TeTchra and Eclipsae, they managed to shut down the player up in the high ground by destroying the structure, thus forcing him to have to go down and fall to his ultimate demise. What a conclusion to that game. Insanity. But it doesn't stop. We're on to the next one, and look at the names that we're already being given. We got Ronaldo, Ziff, we have Cease and Elevate, Hogman as well. We also have Fuzzy, Bumpa, an Innocence, Assault, Smack, Bravo, Wildfire, and Lotus. Great players, and your elimination leader in this game is Assault from Ghost Gaming.
Wow, this lobby is absolutely stacked, and I mean, just going back to that last game just for 1 second, you could see when they were ramping up the side that they were looking to try and retake high. And as soon as they saw the zone was moving back down the mountain, they made the call to just wait them out. So brilliantly done. We talked about them clutching up before in a 2v2, doing it again there.
Also that moment, just saying, go for the shot, destroy the structure, knock that thing down. It's being held by a twig. It's just the moment-to-moment activity in Fortnite is mind-blowing, man, mind-blowing. But here we go. So Fuzzy and Hogman, who has had, I would say, quite the resurgence, if you will. He's always been a great player, but he's been having a lot of success recently. And overall, we know that this player has this skill. And maybe this duo is going to be the duo that brings him to New York for the Fortnite World Cup final.
Yeah, we've seen Fuzzy also incredibly close to qualifying for solos. Hogman wasn't too far off the cliff as well. I think a big thing for him is his potential is very high, and he's been slowly bringing up his skill and execution floor. So he's getting rid of a lot of his inconsistencies, but if he's able to keep bringing up that floor at a slightly higher rate than pushing his potential, I think eventually he'll push forward and get there, but he needs to sort out some of the inconsistencies towards, I would say, more the mid game and like getting the late game elims. He's great at getting there and staying safe, but finding the best way to capitalize on elimination opportunities is what's going to put him over the top into that echelon of players where you're like, yeah, he's one of the best.
Caught Cease from the sky with the epic infantry. This weapon is so good. So good and so powerful that in the hands of a player like Hogman, you are not safe. You are simply not safe, friend.
And on top of that, it sounds really awesome. Like,
Well,
it just sounds really satisfying to shoot that off, hear the rounds, hear the clip pop off, and particularly when they connect, seeing some of the clips of the 3 in a row 80 headshots when somebody's peeking. I mean, it harkens back to those old burst rifle days when you catch people with the fabled 3 headshot bursts.
Oh, yeah, those are fun. I love the burst. I had to play it for a little while. It was nice.
It was a fun one. I enjoyed it as a pump off the look. So Hogman's going to look for it. This is what we talked about. 1, 2, 3. What? What? Mr. Hogman, thank you so much. I talked about how rewarding it was and then using it as a secondary swap, putting it down. Be careful, there's a trap.
Oh, no.
What's in the box? It's a trap. Mr. Hogman, we talked about cleaning up the consistency.
Yeah, but even then, though, Sundown, he went for it because he knew he had that opportunity. That trap was so far on the side.
He didn't get knocked out. He's being revived and the box over right now. So Assault needs to go. He needs to try and convert on it as he pushes through the box. Gets the edit.
Oh,
he finds it.
no.
No, Hogman got him.
Hogman
they stuck it and he rifted him out. So he needs to dive back down immediately to try and get there. What is that exchange?
I don't think he's going to be able to get him. I don't think he will be able to get his teammate.
No, there's no way. There's no way he'd be able to dive down and catch. Oh, wait. No, okay, he left him. He left him. Okay, I was looking for the side. Yeah, that was just, it was a double headband there. You see Hogman now sliding on in there with his 30 effective HP, trying to get some room to pop the minis and get back up to 80.
Oh, that whole moment changed dramatically because of the trap play. And that was ridiculous. What a sequence of events, Sundown. Oh, wait, what? He just wildfire just went in there and just bodied a player in front of him. Okay, that was just okay. And then, you open the door, you're like, hello. And then I guess he wanted some butter. Oh, man. Okay, well, Ziff and Ronaldo.
Yeah, so that was Ronaldo who actually, kind of walked around the corner and ran into another player, getting picked up right there on the backside of that play. But we're not even into the top 15 yet, GB. 16 duels left. Or no, just as I say that, Schoolboy goes down to Bravo. So now everyone getting the 3 placement points. 8 points coming out so far for the Rise duo. But we are into Circle 7, closing down now. Only 2 circles remain. As you do that trap arm off. Not a ton of builds either.
No, that is a part that scares me for Ziff. Hogman, I can't believe Hogman is still in this. But, hey, kudos to you, brother. Way to play. Sundown mentioned the late game performance. And speaking of late game, Ziff went in for the elimination on to Bumpa, but knocked him down. Will not be able to get the benefits of the siphon because he's going to be out of this game. Then we got Parallel Gage along with FZ. Only 1 elimination, but they're getting challenged, and FC gets it down. And it's good for FC because they'll be able to siphon the HP from that. They're so low. And look at this. Players just continuing to fall, but they're trapped. They're trapped right over that mountain. They got to get over this one quickly. Lonely Lodge is a very perilous place to be at the late game here, Sundown, because of all of this natural terrain that exists.
Yeah, what a great flick there from Gage, and then having the awareness to duck out into the storm, not get pinned against kind of those awkward angled ledges. You talk about Lonely being weird to rotate through. It's not because it's a mountain, it's because these aren't those nicely sloped cliff faces. If you get pinned against one, you can't build back up.
It's a sharp 90-degree angle.
Yep, it doesn't happen, but now Gage looking to find one of those players rotating. We are into the top 5, so it's all about the eliminations and the victory royale as Cowboy Seiko picks up Aguilar. He's going down. The E11 representative no longer in the match. Rift to go, popping off. 2 players picked up. Gage looking for the shot, hits it, but doesn't quite convert all the way.
He needs the resources, though. He needs a resource. He goes for it. He's going to be able to benefit from 15 resources. Sundown. 3 eliminations for this duo. That player's going to be outside. Gets the elimination there as well. But 4 players remaining. A 1v1v1v1 is Seiko and Gage up above. And then you have Oorix and Alu who are in a fight. And Oorix is going to be outside. He ends up eating a lot of damage and will be taking damage from the storm. Players low as well. And you see the shots registering and they go up to the sky. Seiko, is he going to do Oh, and then Oorix just picked up a double down low. It's going to be a 1v1, and he sees him. He's going to land right on top of him. He's got to drift around this. He's got to dodge.
How's your footwork?
Dive and dodge. I can't believe he manages to get onto the platform.
One build.
He has no build. Oh, the humanity, and that is the game. Oorix gets the victory royale off of the player not having any more builds, and he fell to the end. What a game that was. I'm impressed that he managed to sway his way around all that, man.
I'm not sure why he popped the rift. He was just chilling on the low ground. He could have put some pressure, but the second you pop the rift, there's something called a maximum dive height in Fortnite, which you've seen before when you jump off the bus, but jumping into the next match, you have most eliminations currently. Threats sitting on 3 as we hop on board with Lanson and Dyslexic.
These games have been crazy.
Yeah, as you say that, Blazin going down there to the heavy snipe. I mean, we talk about it. The half, you spend 15 minutes farming up, do all that, get to the circle, and just because you're the late rotator, because somebody has a beat on you with a heavy sniper, that's the rest of your match.
Yeah, that's Battle Royale for you. And all these players know this, and that was, again, you heard the heavy snipe. Let's talk about this Sundown. Utilize that rocket, shot it out, and then they timed it with the heavy snipe. They did it a lot in the Lux Cup. They do it a lot in all the duos competitions that we've seen. But every time I see it, I love it.
Yeah, because the RPG being a projectile-based weapon, meaning it has that longer travel time than the heavy sniper bullet, which is also projectile-based, but pretty snappy. So you're able to time it out, fire the rocket, wait till the last second. So if the player isn't 100% watching that wall, or they're double protected, you'll get a rocket directly inside a 1x1. And I mean, best case scenario, it's a double, just like it was there, as Dubs gets pulled from the sky by TeTchra. Originally, Dubs and Mega were talked about as the huge favorites coming in for today, but not happening there. Actually, no, I don't think. Yeah, I was just about to say, nope, incorrect. It got excited there. That's not the actual Dubs. That's Dubs FN, so apologies there. But, I mean, we can still get excited about Trajectory with that boom bow right there, brilliantly picking up.
You know what? It's 2019. I like the Hawkeye play. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. That was nasty.
Nice little quick edit down into his teammate's box, but they're looking to see what they can do, hearing the players below them as those little Easter presents are going off. Those aren't the eggs you want to find, though.
No, they are not. Definitely been some great games that we've been treated to in NA East. Coming up next will be NA West. We got 3 spots here in the NA East region that these players are going to be competing for, and 1 spot in NA West for a total of 4 in North America. And here's Divine as well as JC Deadshot. Divine went for the edit and then tried to poke for some more shots, but he right away had to turtle up, recognizing that it was not safe to do so. The player was happily putting the pressure onto him, and luckily for Divine, he had JC Deadshot there to back him up, and they will be able to top off, use some of those shields so they can try and keep themselves going in this game somehow.
Yeah, and one thing you notice there, able to pick up a great down and knock there. He's utilizing the cone to not only get other angles, like watching that jump pad, but also make sure there's a line of cover, trying to find that player as it comes through, getting 1 of the shield tags. So unfortunately not a ton. Needs to be able to actually edit out of this box, taking a storm tick, but other than that should be okay as him and JC start to rotate. But there's players right next to them, GB, picking up JC there. Can Divine go huge?
Yeah, Divine saw that a player was going to be around, and that's why he doubled back, recognizing that there was an opportunity to get an elimination. Over to the high ground now. Maybe, we'll drop down. So he's going to drop down here for the moment. Ended up losing Deadshot as well in that altercation, and will go up to the sky. Stay up here for as long as you possibly can. There's only 2 more placement spots left, and if players go down, given all the activity below, that's top 15. Those are points.
Yeah, additionally, too, a decent amount of ballers left, but only 2 above that 50% threshold. So probably will start being broken out now, trying to utilize those to get a little bit of a safer end, or a lot of it of a safer end game. But Old Man Mountain is going to come into play, GB, as you said.
Once again, You'll see the toll be collected here. Old Man Mountain does not play around. Probably one of the best competitors in the Fortnite World Cup, given how so many players have fallen by his hands. And Divine has to go through the stinks. No other options there for Divine. And the action continues down low. Does he connect with one? Is going to tag for blue. That's going to be another player, but ends up getting shot by another one and then turns around and beams Lanson. Can he stay alive? Kroby Rowe will win it. But Kroby's got to get up above.
Yep, and here it comes. Who can actually make their way up as FrostJace and C-Robbie trying to get around the side. They're able to 90 their way up. We're going right over the corner. Trajectory starting to take some ticks. Dyslexic able to double his way back over. Nothing out of order there as he decides to abandon that baller. You have Heretics P-God up on the high ground with the COD directly next to him. And a lot of stink grenades there. Those are going to be his allies. That's why he's not taking the tick damage. But they want to find, oh, brilliant. Lining it up with a heavy sniper, breaking through and catching that player off guard with that uncommon suppressed SMG. It's really hard to track where that's coming through, particularly if you're trying to get some heals off.
That player was not aware of the surroundings, but in the final moments like this, you got to keep your head on a swivel. There you go, the elimination onto Vio. That was the player he dropped with that green SMG. P-God and COD, excuse me, are still up above. Dyslexic are going to be right below them in trajectory in that baller. With Dyslexic, he's getting hit. He's getting hit by the storm. Needs to be careful because P-God knows he has him, and there you go. The elimination registered there. We only got a few more players left in this one. 5 duels remaining, meaning all these players are going to get points for being in the top 5. 6 players remaining within the game itself, and the only duel left is COD and P-God. P-God drops down low, but we're going over to Zacity. Zacity and Massive will be going on to this one. COD out of the fight. 7 eliminations. The ultimate low ground, the low ground warrior.
No builds now, though, for Zacity. It's a 2v1. Not often we necessarily see the high ground in this 1v2 situation. Interested to see how P-God plays this out.
Yep.
He could opt to get aggressive, but he will run out of mats first. Zacity is out, but Massive did get the conversion there.
And this is where I'm bummed out for P-God because they had that high ground. Everything was working out for them here, and they really need to pull out something big time. P-God needs to live up to the name if they want the victory royale. But second place, not bad. I'm sure they would like a little bit more, and there you go. So he's going to bandage out and go in for the fight, but it's getting ticked outside. P-God should be able to survive this if it keeps going like this.
He just needs to wait. P-God needs to wait. He already got a great trade out the first time on Zacity, and that's it. They got way too antsy trying to get out on him. What happened on the initial trade, they cracked back, and he had the health advantage on one, and then rather than sending him at the same time, Zacity went out and challenged early, and then Massive went out and challenged after. All P-God needs to do is throw shot in ramp and keep himself covered. If he wins the health exchange, he takes the victory royale, which we saw there.
That was ridiculous, Sundown, but that's going to do it for us for now. We're throwing it back over